All right, we need to talk about Endrick because he was supposed to be the next guy for Real Madrid. The wonder kid was supposed to be the next superstar, the future of Brazil, the next in line after Vinícius Jr, Rodrygo, and maybe even Ronaldo Nazario himself. But now that he's actually here at Real Madrid, it's been quiet, a little too quiet. And I have some concerns. And look, I get it. Real Madrid are flying right now. Xabi Alonso's got this team playing beautiful football. Mbappe's doing Mbappe things. Arda Güler looks like he's been playing in Europe for 10 years. And Jude Bellingham is still that guy. So yeah, everything's great if you're a Real Madrid fan. But if you're Endrick, sitting there in the number 9 shirt on the bench week after week, this isn't how you imagined your career at Real Madrid. So what's going on here? Why isn't Endrick playing? And could he actually be in trouble at Real Madrid? Let's get into it. So we have to rewind a little bit. Endrick burst onto the scenes at the age of 15, destroying people in Brazil's youth tournaments. He was scoring bicycle kicks, running through grown men like they were cones. Palmeiras knew they had a generational talent. He made his senior debut for Palmeiras at 16, becoming the club's youngest ever player and helping them win the Brazilian League title in his debut season. And then came the international stage. At just 17 years old, Endrick made the debut for the Brazilian national team, becoming one of the youngest players ever to represent them. And then came Real Madrid. Florentino Perez saw another Vinícius Jr situation, another Brazilian phenom they could grab early. Endrick was signed in December of 2022 on a 6-year deal, with the agreement that he officially joined in the summer of 2024 once he turned 18. And to be fair, he handled this incredibly well. He stayed humbled, finished his time at Palmeiras strong, scored against big-time teams like Flamengo and Botafogo, and left on an emotional high, saying goodbye to the fans, to his girlfriend, and he arrived at Madrid with cameras everywhere. And in true Real Madrid fashion, he hit the ground running, making contributions, winning the European Super Cup and the International Cup in his first season, and even earning the iconic number 9 shirt for Real Madrid. So the pressure was unreal for him. Now here's where it starts to get messy. You look at Real Madrid's attack right now, Vinícius Jr on the left, Mbappe playing as a striker, and options on the right like Arda Güler, Franco Mastantuano, Brahim Diaz, and Rodrygo all rotating in. So where exactly does Endrick fit? He's a striker technically, but he's not a classic number 9. He's small, explosive, very direct, but Real Madrid don't play with a pure striker in Xabi Alonso's system. The false 9 role right now is perfectly made for Mbappe to operate in free space. And just when it looked like Endrick might get a few chances to prove himself, Gonzalo García showed up out of nowhere and stole the spotlight. He was brilliant during the Club World Cup this summer, scored goals, linked play beautifully, and basically proved to Xavi that he's ready for senior football. And now, instead of competing with Rodrygo for minutes, Endrick's competing with another young striker who's already thriving in this system. And that's tough, because when Gonzalo's scoring and pressing like a madman, it's really hard to justify taking him out for an 18-year-old who's still adapting to life in Spain. So the reality is, Endrick isn't bad. He's just not needed right now. Now, let's be real. The expectations were insane. He's 18. People were calling him the next Ronaldo before he even played a game in Europe. And when you walk into a dressing room with Mbappe, Bellingham, Vinícius Jr, Rodrygo, good luck standing out. Even Vinícius and Rodrygo had tough starts. They had to wait months before breaking through under Zidane and Ancelotti. But the difference is, back then, there was space in the squad. Right now, this Real Madrid team is loaded. And Xabi Alonso doesn't strike me as the kind of manager who gives out minutes just to make fans happy. If you're not ready, you're not playing. But here's the thing that people forget. Endrick's still just a kid. He moved across the world, new language, new culture, new teammates. He's living in a country where even ordering food or driving somewhere can feel overwhelming. He's reportedly been working closely with Vinícius and Rodrygo off the pitch, learning Spanish. He's got a small circle around him, trying to keep him grounded. But if you've seen his interviews, you can tell he's feeling the weight of the expectations. That's a lot of pressure for an 18-year-old who's barely played 100 minutes of football for Real Madrid. So the question is, will Endrick truly ever feature for Real Madrid? Look, I think yes, but not this season. I think Xabi Alonso is protecting him. He's not going to throw him into a Champions League quarterfinal against City and watch the kid get eaten alive. He's going to build him slowly through Copa del Rey games, late substitutions, and maybe a few starts next season. But the fans, we're impatient. We want to see fireworks now. And if Endrick doesn't score or get minutes anytime soon, people are going to be saying, is he a flop? And the comments are only going to get louder. There's even talks of potential loan situations, something similar to a Renier. And honestly, that might be the best thing for him. Although there are reports that he said that he wanted to stay at Real Madrid and turn down some loan opportunities. But right now, he's behind one of the most stacked front lines in world football, and behind a kid his own age who's already shining in the white shirt. So yeah, maybe this isn't a crisis, maybe it's just a reality. Real Madrid don't need Endrick yet. And that doesn't mean his story's over before it starts. It just means that the dream move, the one every Brazilian kid has, comes with a brutal truth. At Real Madrid, no one waits for you. You either take your moment or somebody else does. So what do you think? Should Xabi Alonso give Endrick more minutes or develop him slowly? Let me know in the comments. And as always, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.